Hello and welcome back to Sofia by Night, our Vampire the Masquerade chronicle set in the dark ages of Sofia, Bulgaria. My name is Bolthra and I'm your storyteller. And as is our new practice, since we haven't been here for about a month and a half, so it's still the new practice. I'm going to ask the characters two questions. They're going to answer kind of what their characters um, preference would be. So we're going to start off with asking Iskra. I think last time we
Mhm.
asked about their favorite kind of ice cream, which we weren't even sure if ice cream would exist back
Right,
then.
yeah, we weren't sure about that.
So now we're going to ask her beer or wine?
Based on her background, probably wine.
Wine, okay.
Mhm.
And Praetor?
Beer, definitely beer.
Beer, all righty. So we'll have to make sure they swing by another tavern to get a
Imbibe.
chance to imbibe. So,
Mhm.
alrighty. Well, we are now back again after a long break, and we're about to get started with our game. So, we're going to push the magic button and get started. Previously on Sofia by Night. In our last episode, the coterie followed the now expanding neighborhood watch, finding them to still be generally disorganized. Three of the group, who we named Table Leg and the Grease Brothers, attempted to go into Nightshade, but were delayed by Iskra, Stefan, and Hildegard. Edgar, one of the brothers, is now under Hildegard's control, and the coteries decided that they want to speak to Claudio about this new threat. So we pick up with the coterie is standing outside of the wretched hive of scum and villainy uh, known as Nightshade, and they are going to go in to speak with their coterie mate, Mr. Claudio. Uh, Hildegard has kind of stepped to the back. She's kind of waiting for the elders of the coterie, Iskar or Praetor, to decide do they want to go in through the front door? Are they going to sneak in through the back? How do they want to go in?
A
Go
praetor
around.
won't hesitate. He'll go right
Mhm.
to the front door
Okay.
Okay.
because
Yeah.
they sort of lived here for some
Hmm.
time.
They did.
So it's
Right.
still like he's still not up much, and he's not much on how shall I say? I can't
Social
think of the word,
graces.
but yeah, he's not a social person. It's like nope, nope. This was my house, so I'm just going to walk in.
Okay.
I'm gonna probably go around to the back and see if that window's still broken because I don't want any of the roving guards or whatever they are now to find me.
Okay. Well, let's say that Hildegard is going to go in the front with Praetor, and
Mhm.
Iskra is going to sneak around the back. We'll start with her.
Okay.
She makes her way around the back. She does run into a thuggish looking guy
Oh.
who she's recognized before. She had a feeling it's a muscle that Claudio may have employed.
Okay.
He's just kind of looks like a bull. He's just kind of what do you kind of recognizes you, but
Mhm.
is disdainful towards a female. to put it lightly. So
Ugh,
he's like,
wrong female to mess with.
"What you do here?
Used to live here.
Go
Kinda.
inside. Get to work."
No, not like that. Is Stefan with me or no?
No.
Okay.
You don't know where Stefan went.
Huh. All right. Can I? How far back to the back of the building did I get? Can I see if the window's accessible?
You'd have to like step past him to get around to the back to see if the window is. And
Okay.
he's a rather large man.
All right. Well, previously I was able to climb the building, so maybe I'll just go in from the roof.
Okay. So you're gonna jump and gonna try to climb up the wall.
Yep. Yep.
He puts a hand on your ankle. Stop.
What?
Go in through door like normal person.
I'm not a normal person. Really, trust me on this.
Kind of cocks his head to the side, kind of like the way dogs do. Like, huh?
Hmm? All right, fine. I like remove his hand from my ankle and
Okay.
drop down, and
Okay.
I'll try to be stealthy going into the door in the
Okay.
front.
Okay. He doesn't say anything as you head head up front. Praetor, you walk in with Hildegard, and Stefan. You don't recall what happened to Stefan. You really weren't looking for him because he's not your property.
To say the least.
Yes, exactly. When you get in, the place is actually fairly well lit. Um, there are the sounds of pleasure. Let's just put it that way. Can be heard quite softly. Squeaking of beds from up above. Um, there's a couple businessmen, we'll call them, loitering about in the main hallway, drinking some wine, with talking to a young lady. Um, they don't seem to notice you. They seem to be kind of having their own little thing going on. And then as you've come in, then you hear Iskra coming up behind you, and she comes in the
Hmm.
door. So you get in, and it looks like there's a you know, it's you don't know what night it is, but it seems like there's always a party at Nightshade. So it's lots of noise. For an average evening. When you get in, you don't recognize anyone right away. There are some muscle who have been brought in. You remember that Claudio's sire said that he was going to send over some muscle to add in
Hmm.
security. There's a guy or two kind of loitering about, and they kind of give you a look, and they're kind of looking at the girls, kind of like, why are they here? Um,
I glare
they're
at them. Mm.
Okay. And but they kind of just kind of nod at Praetor. They may remember you from before, but you're not quite sure.
Um, I'll try to look for one of the muscle men,
Hmm. Hmm.
as it were, not any of the patrons drinking, whatever they might be drinking, and basically approach the closest one and tell him, give him kind of like, I need to speak to Claudio.
He's busy.
I assure you he will want to speak to me.
What's your name?
You may call me Praetor.
All right. He kind of shrugs, and he's like, I've seen you around here before. Hold on. And you see him head towards there was kind of that kitchen area that was kind of off the where the chapel had been when you came in. You kind of went to
Mhm.
the left. He kind of
Yeah.
wanders back there, and in a minute or two, he comes out with an old friend of yours. Claudio comes out. His hair looks immaculate. His clothes immaculate. He has rings on every finger, gold chain. He comes out. My best friends, how have you been?
We have
Busy.
been well.
He's like,
uh,
and
Go ahead.
and Iskra, what are we going to do with you? We've got to change something with you, with your appearance. There maybe some brighter colors. Something. There's just seems like there's something we can do for you.
This is a long-running argument, Claudio, from day one. Leave me
Ah,
be.
ah, such a waste. And Hildegard, you seem to have been taking advantage of your time spent with my sire, and she just kind of nods and doesn't really doesn't really say much. And he comes up. Claudio comes up to Praetor, offers him a big handshake, big firm handshake. And Praetor, how are you, my friend?
And well, we have business to discuss with you,
Ah,
as it were.
ah. Then please let us let us not loiter too long here. And he kind of takes you guys back to that again, that kind of kitchen area, and
Mm-hmm.
that is where you can see that the window has now been boarded up. They
Okay.
haven't quite. You thought they had heard they were going to actually fix it, but right now it just seems to be boarded up so that nothing can come in and go out. So he's like, "May I offer you some refreshment?"
Yes.
All right. Sure. What are
And
you offering?
well, let's see. I have a 19-year-old vintage.
Oh, that's what you
Believe
mean.
she's Romanian, I believe. Have a fine 25-year-old Scotch.
Oh
Uh,
my.
I will take the Scott.
you will take the Scotch, all right? And he rings a bell, and the guy you had seen earlier appears, and Claudio says, "Get me get me what was his name? Mick something. The redheaded one. You know who I'm talking about. Get me that. And nothing for you, my dear."
How hungry is Iskra at this point? I can't tell from my character sheet.
Let's take a look. She has one hunger, so
One.
she's at one hunger.
Mm,
So
okay.
actually, both of them are at one hunger.
Yeah.
All right.
Perhaps you'd like to share the scotch.
If Praetor is willing.
I'm willing.
Okay.
All right. Mm-hmm.
Claps his hands. Uh, so let's get down to business while we're waiting.
Mm.
What can I do for you, my friends?
It is, I guess, perhaps more information than we can provide to you, and that you should be aware of what is going on. There is a group of individuals, how shall I say, patrolling the area around here. Uh, they are looking for the crime, I guess, looking for crimes in and around the slum district, and looking to avenge any activity that's going on. They are not very well organized. However, I believe one of them may be, how should I say, might actually be competent, but the rest are
Losers.
young, yeah, young unemployed individuals who simply are looking for something to do, idle hands and devil's tools and such. Um, so you need to be aware of what is going on. You should probably take more care in the comings and goings of people and be more subtle, perhaps, in some of the activities that go on here.
Ghastly, but not unexpected, I would suppose. We've been doing a steady business as the weeks have gone. I've actually considered opening a second location
Oh
of
no.
Nightshade, but in a better neighborhood. Just get a little more upscale customers. Some of my customers prefer to come here because they're not seen, they're not noticed here.
Mm-hmm.
But I've considered expanding.
Well, I have no advice to offer you other than this area should be, how shall I say, taken back some, if you will. Scale
Hmm.
down, scale back,
Right.
whatever operations you have going on, because it is being noticed.
And a group
And,
of them wanted to come in,
Hmm.
oh,
but not because of what you're thinking. I guess they're quite a lot of these. They're mostly boys.
Hmm.
Um, don't really know what they're doing,
Hmm.
and they were concerned that if they were caught in front of this place by their somewhat adept leader, that they'd get in trouble or something. So now Iskra and I have run into these people before, so we are pretending to be people who live here and are just very impressed with their patrolling and all of this, and talk them out of it. But you could have had 3 rather inept young men or boys going to tell whoever their leader is what they saw here, and that could lead to trouble for you and everyone involved.
That certainly will not do. And I applaud your vigilance in protecting, I would say, my enterprise, but the 3 of us did it. All put some effort into founding this place. So
No, that's true.
and as this is our territory, we would not want anything to happen to it, uh, either through my actions or your actions. So, what shall we do about this?
My advice is to scale back your operation for a short period. Let the men see that nothing is going on. I'm hoping it's my thought that once they discover nothing is happening, the young men will become bored and look for some other entertainments away from here.
And I also tried to convince them that there is a plague of rats.
Rats.
Yes, there's none, but yes. So they might be wary of walking through alleys and dark areas and such. Hopefully. They're not very smart, at least the group we talked with.
No, the people I watched were not very intelligent.
Well, I've found that the less intelligent can be coerced into doing things that perhaps it's not to their advantage, but they're to my advantage. Uh, Perhaps they could still be utilized.
I don't know. They're the kind of dumb that would spread information without knowing the damage it may cause.
Sounds like
I agree.
politicians.
Oh no, not quite that. Well, maybe.
And
They
and
don't sound very savvy.
and at that moment, the muscle returns with a young man, very pale young man, curly red hair, kind of walks in, kind of dazed looking, uh, and just kind of saunters forward. The muscle kind of pushes him down to his knees, and he just kind of just hangs his head and sits there. My friends, your 25-year-old Scotch. Enjoy.
He's awfully pale. Is he all right?
I think he just doesn't get enough sunlight. I've heard that Scotland is very cold and dark. Perhaps it's just in his blood, shall we say?
Oh, yeah, great. Lovely pun. Well, if you're sure he's all right.
He should be. Would I keep anything less than the best here for my friends?
He has a point.
He does have a
Praetor will then walk over to the man and begin to feed.
Okay. What are you grabbing? An arm, his neck? What are you
Yeah,
grabbing?
we'll just grab an arm.
Okay. All right. All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And he kind of his eyes just kind of roll back, kind of like in the pleasure of the kiss. So
hmm
I'll give Praetor time and then I'll
okay.
do something similar.
Okay, so then he kind of when Iskra's feeding, he kind of just tilts his head the other way, like, oh.
What does that do for us? Does it remove hunger?
Yes, it's going to remove
Okay.
hunger. So you're
Okay.
each, yes, you're each going to, yep, you're going to remove that 1 dot of hunger because you've now fed. So,
Okay. I did.
yep, looks good. Okay, so after a few moments of kind of idle chatter with Claudio, he kind of waves the boy away. He says, "Now let's get down to business again. I must wonder, though, who would have put this neighborhood watch in motion?
I
I
don't know.
doubt these young men just came to them senses and said we must clean up the neighborhood.
Well,
No,
their leader thinks that that's what they should do because he feels that the guards are not properly protecting the people and that people have gone missing and they're trying to find them, including the ones that we buried.
Well, they don't. I've seen that they're paid well to avoid this neighborhood.
Ah,
right. So
that's
one of
why.
them, yeah.
Okay.
We figured you had
That
some
that
hand in
explains
it.
a lot,
Yes,
actually.
but
Okay.
the younger crowd, or what we need, I guess, what we need to do is figure out who has organized them, because I admit that is something that I'm not sure how that began, because the the incompetence of the other individuals seems to have been like, I don't feel like they could have had the charisma or the will to gather everyone together. The man
Unless
behind them
everybody was
all,
bored.
Hmm.
Like
yeah,
well, yeah, like you've seen them, Praetor. Like there's kids that don't know, I mean, young men that don't know what they're doing. They're just following
hmm,
around. Some of them are
right,
less than ideal in terms of physicality, and uh, it's just confusing. Like, they're bored.
right.
They're doing this because they're bored, but we don't know why this guy in charge is saying, oh, yeah, great, come do this.
Yeah, there seems to be no. The only motive that they profess is that they're trying to clean up, trying to police the area where the guards won't. And that seems like for one person, it's possible. But what is his motive beyond that? Does he have one?
Hmm.
Um, and as I said, I think that if operations here are scaled back or moved elsewhere, the young men will simply have nothing to find or nothing to do and become bored again and perhaps grab onto some other task or mission, as it were.
I believe you're right. I do see a need to scale down a bit after tonight's entertainment, and perhaps move up my timetable, as it were, to moving into my second location. Does this mean then that we abandon this entire this territory as now a potential enemy has essentially put something in place to possibly take it away from us?
I don't know that you need to abandon it, but take more care and be subtle about actions you do here. Leave less bodies around, I suppose, would be for starters.
Well,
Take them.
we are all guilty of that, Praetor.
True, but um,
But they're
if
starting
we
to notice.
yeah, they're starting to take notice, or at least the people are taking notice,
Point
and
taken. Point taken.
if we do less, if we cause less death, then there'll be less. Bodies tend to get one talked about.
Yes, yes, they do.
So if we're both more careful, then I think that may be enough.
All right. Then the next is, how do we get rid of them?
Hmm.
I think any interference or direct interference on our part will only exacerbate the problem. It needs to be subtle and, how I say, but eh, point them in another direction. I think that if they're given some other task, they'll ignore or or forget about what's going on down here. Again, with some other input, they will find something else to do and leave our kind alone. But I don't know what that would be. I mean, if this were old times, I could simply have them encourage them to enlist in the military or the guard. But such is not the case here. They don't have such a thing, and the guards are less likely to. Um, oh no! Hold on, hold on. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I heard.
um, Hildegard speaks up. She says, "Well, I've just acquired. I've just acquired one of these boys
39, 38. Yeah.
as my I don't know. I guess you can call him pet. And I really don't want to give him up. Do you think maybe we could use him to get more information out of Mathias, who's their leader?
Anything's possible, I guess.
It Claudio does. They do seem like an asset that could be utilized if pointed elsewhere or given a purpose. Because I'd really like to know who put them in motion. As the prince himself did grant us this territory, but again, someone seems intent on messing with us, on disturbing us, as it were.
Hmm. Who would have reason for that?
I mean, we've probably made our fair share of enemies. There was the we,
Gangrel?
we did him. We did have the slight issue with Praetor's sire.
Oh, right, yeah.
And there was also the gentleman, the Greek, that we met a few weeks back. All of them seemed a little perturbed by our presence in the neighborhood.
Hmm.
And
Sorry,
speaking
I'm
for
back.
speaking for myself, I really see three different ways to take care of the problem. One would be, as Hildegard has mentioned, perhaps her pet, this Edgar, could get a little more information out of Mathias. Perhaps find out the origins of his plan. The second would be brute force. Just have them removed, as we've done in the past. Loose lips can be silenced easily.
And then you're dealing with bodies.
We don't have to leave them here. We have
Okay.
horse and carts, don't we? I'm sure you could arrange something to dispose of these bodies.
Um,
And the last would be perhaps one of our kind who is more skilled at uh, how's the best way to say it? Bending minds, perhaps to examine them and find out exactly what they do know, what they don't know.
well, that probably ain't me.
Oh no, no. And I'm not. I'm really not that. I dabble, but I'm not that strong to, because you make it sound like this young man is quite strong-willed, and it would take someone probably above my skill level to work with such a strong mind. But again, that is maybe not as extreme as, again, just slaughtering the bunch and hauling them out of town.
But
Uh,
that might breed reason for someone to start it up again.
it does, yes, because they obviously have families and would and more missing people lead to more questions. Yes,
This is complicated.
it is. It is a deep problem we have, but I'm sure we can find a way to curb the threat, as it were, and again, without possibly you losing some information.
Hmm.
I think we've been compromised. We've spoken to several elders. A lot of our business is now fair game among our kind. So it
Oh,
could be it could be difficult at this point to 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 track down the exact source or know who to trust. So we must be careful going forward of kind of who we share this additional information with. There may be no one else who knows these young men, and I think that would be better to keep that perhaps just within our coterie.
right. I was thinking though, Praetor and I went to talk to Alexander. I think that's the right name.
Hmm.
And he's very religious,
He is.
very
He
Christian.
is.
And if word from I have no idea who got back to him, he might have reason to try to remove this enterprise because it doesn't match his
Mm.
ideals. I
I
can't be sure. This is a guess.
I hadn't thought of that. He has never been very keen on our enterprise.
Mm.
Did he offer to baptize you the last time you saw him?
He did. I found a way to talk him out of that.
I was baptized as a child, so I told him my soul was already with Christ. He
No,
did
we.
not seem to share that sentiment.
Yeah, that's a different religion from what I grew up in.
Yes.
So I told him that I would have to ask my sire because she should know what I'd be up to, and
Hmm.
told her about it, and she just was like, no. So
I would say Alexander would be towards the top of our list of suspicion. Uh, again,
possibly.
again, we are young among Canaanites. We are still considered pawns to be moved across a board. Uh, our presence here, even though granted by the prince, may have angered another of our kind who seeks to impede our progress and send a message up through the food chain, as it were, that that they're unhappy, shall we put it.
Hmm. I guess.
But I feel we do have some of our own power that we can still protect ourselves and not fall prey to the elders.
Probably. But see, I would never stand for that.
I don't think she would.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think she would back us?
Hmm. I'm not sure. Ever since her sire returned, to long story short, she's the two of them have been just wrapped up in each other, and I don't even know if they're paying attention to anything else
Hmm.
right now.
We are short on. We're not short on allies. We're short on options. But I think having some kind of security behind us, an elder's voice, would definitely go a long way towards making our point. But again, we must. I think we must clean up this mess first, and then seek the elders once we have it under control, because the one thing they do disdain is coming to them with a problem and asking uh, for it to be solved. We must come to them with the solution already and suggest, here is how I have handled it. Do you agree?
I think so.
I think
I'm
that's
not interested in talking to Alexander ever again, honestly.
yeah.
But
Well, I think what you say makes sense. That if we present them a solution to this issue and simply ask permission to utilize it, that
Hmm.
may help our position and show the elders our um, savvy, if you will.
Yes.
That we don't just say, "Hey, there's an issue, we need help." Say, "Hey, there's an issue, we have this possible solution. We seek your advice or seek permission if you think it's wise to move." And because it may border on territory, or you know, maybe they're aware of something else going on, and our solution could impact them. But
Yes.
I agree, we need more information on this Mathias,
Yes.
and having Hildegard have her friend
spy.
with friend within the group.
Sure.
I think we need to see what fruit that bears before we proceed. But we wanted Iskra and I at least wanted to inform you of what was going on, and let you know how things were happening.
Excellent.
And maybe have one of your brute squad uh, maybe come around the front of the building and dissuade these young idiots to go away.
Oh, they're still out there. Yes.
Well, I don't know if they're still out there tonight. At least two of them I know said they went home, but I
Yes.
don't know what happened to the rest.
Of course.
And on that, have you seen Stefan? I've lost track of him.
Stefan. I didn't. I haven't seen him. He was with you.
She was.
Hmm. He's yours now.
Yes. Has
Ah.
been for a while, I guess.
Hmm. Well, I will have one of my men go outside and dissuade the youths and see if we can scare them away. Uh, what troubles me is that if we're too heavy-handed, they might know that there was something truly going on in this place, something of a carnal nature going on
Oh,
here.
they've already guessed that.
Ah, okay. I had considered going out and praying with them first and see if that would perhaps
I don't know.
dissuade them.
I don't know. No, they've at least been told that is what goes
Ah,
on here. So they
okay.
were
Yeah.
at one point trying to gather the courage to come in and see for themselves, and I dissuaded them by asking if they were honorable gentlemen, and then they all got
Yes.
embarrassed and stopped. So
Basically, Nightshade is Sophia's Porkies.
yeah.
It's gotten that reputation. So,
Hmm.
uh, all right, very well. I will send someone out to speak with the lads and
Right.
dissuade them.
And if it's like, I was going to come around the back of the building and just to not be spotted by these fools, but your brute squad out there, I I could have gotten away from him and up the building, but decided
Oh
not to.
no,
He's
they've been trained to keep an eye out and not let anyone get behind the building. Certainly not climb it. I mean,
yeah, well, I
young
just
lady,
figured.
what need do you have to be climbing the
Well,
building?
right. Yeah, I think he mistook me for one of your ladies, and that's ugh.
Ah,
So,
well,
but the point is, they do not they do not come across as smart, but they are imposing.
we don't pay them for their intellectual
Right.
skills.
So you could just, have one stand out front for a bit, and that should dissuade some of these boys.
Point taken.
Hmm.
We will look into that. He claps his hands. He says, would you like anything else before you go? You know, one for the road, as they say.
I'm
I'm
all
good.
right. I would like to go find out where Stefan went, though.
Very well. He's like, let me show you to the door, as if you've never been there before. Um,
Right. Right.
claps.
He's all
Yeah, yeah,
he's all about the
Manners.
look. Yeah.
Yes.
yeah. Claps you both on the shoulders,
Hmm.
and also nudges Hildegard along towards the door,
Hmm.
and he goes. He says, "I will be with you shortly." Opens the door for you guys. When you look outside, you do see Stefan
Oh, good.
is talking to the kids.
Oh
Um,
no. I back up. I bring Hildegard with me. They
okay,
can't see us coming out of here.
okay. Uh, she's like, well, what do we do?
Wait them out?
Till what? Till
I don't
sunrise?
know. Well, I guess we can't do that exactly. I don't know. But if we are caught coming out of here, that is going to challenge everything that we did earlier, you know? It
What's up?
might. Uh, how do we make this work?
Claudio's one of Claudio's thugs approaches, and he says, where are the Utes I gotta get rid of?"
Oh, okay.
Hildegard
Uh,
goes, "A solution may have just arrived."
I think so.
He's
If
like,
nothing else,
Uh,
he's a distraction.
"Yes."
right, yeah. Uh, the smaller, younger ones out front.
Oh, them?
Yes.
Cracks his neck. So strutting out.
Don't hurt them, just terrify them.
Says, "You too, go home." And they're like, "Oh, well, we were just hanging out waiting for our friends, and we go home." And they turn around and sprint away.
Oh, good. Well, Claudio, your goons have come in handy.
See,
I see the point.
that's what I pay them for. Some would say the Bruja have similar uses, but I kid.
No, we'd probably kill them, honestly. But yeah.
So so the goon just kind of goes back in, and Stefan just kind of waves over. He's like, "Mistress, good to see you again."
Where have you been? I start coming down the stairs.
I thought I thought you would want me to check on the other side of the building to see if there was a like a way in or something.
Oh, I tried that. I got stopped.
Oh, I tried the other side, and yeah, there was another big goonish guy there too. They really got this place locked down.
They do. Hmm.
Hmm. So what are we doing?
Getting out of here?
Okay.
We've done our duty in alerting Claudio,
He is
and at this point, we probably just need to wait for Hildegard's associate to learn more about Matthias.
okay. So then,
Unless you disagree, Iskra?
Oh no. That's fine. I
I,
just
I, I
I
don't know what else
already
we can do at the moment.
okay,
right.
If we simply
Yeah.
lay low for a few days or perhaps a week, we see what we learn.
okay. We will continue with that then. We're going to go forward about 3 or 4 days,
Okay.
and Hildegard does come to. Actually, Hildegard has been staying at the New Haven with you.
Hmm.
We are going to go forward a couple days, and Hildegard brings good old Edgar near to the Haven, not directly to it. They
Okay.
meet at a I don't know, a sawmill, let's say. There's such romantic places for kids to meet at night. Um, yeah, but she's told you that she's going to be meeting with Edgar there. They're gonna sneak away to snuggle or whatever. So, um, is it something that you guys would like to attend and witness, or um, try to question Edgar? It's up to you, or she can just gather the information by herself and
Well,
return it to you.
she's got those get into people's heads things like
Hmm.
Claudio. I think she could do just well on her own.
Okay.
It's how
Anything?
she got her
Right.
friend.
Right.
So
Any
Mhm.
any any suggestions from Praetor? Or?
No, I just learn what he can about Matthias.
Okay.
However he can do so, that's all he's worried about. What is Matthias's plan, goal,
Hmm.
motive, anything. We know nothing about this guy.
Right. Um, she when she comes back about 2 hours later, her hair's kind of messed up, and looks like she's probably been making out or doing something that the teenagers are wont to do. Um, she says, "Well, I asked him about Matthias, and tried to be subtle, kind of like like Mr. Claudio is. Uh, he said um, that that Matthias had met somebody, a guy, a couple of weeks ago. Um, he was uh, he was he was at a bar, and when Matthias told Edgar this, he seemed like he was kind of distraught by it, like that he was kind of embarrassed by it, um, and that he met a man there who changed his life. Um, he he didn't seem like he was from Sofia. Maybe he was from elsewhere, but the man was so charismatic and seemed to really understand the plight of the poor, and of good Christian men, and
Oh my.
that um, that the man he might have been some kind of merchant or something. He wasn't sure. That part didn't really seem to matter to Matthias. It was more the message that that no one cared about the poor, and that the young ought to take matters into their own hands, and take back the night from villainous thieving scum and whoremongers, and that kind of thing. And that he just woke up the next day just so filled with vigor and righteousness, that he just began, just almost like his own uh, uh, preaching.
Fade.
Yeah, yes, to to,
Oh
to to
no.
to find others like himself, who just felt that, again, that no one cared about them, that they needed to take matters into their own hands. Um, that's about all he really found from Matthias. He said it was almost kind of boring listening to Matthias talk about it, and that he was and Edgar seemed to be more interested in getting under my corset than talking about Matthias. So I had to send him on his way early. But
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it seems like somebody kind of nudged him and gave him some inspiration to patrol the streets.
Who would be able to do that?
Any number of folk,
Yeah,
any number
probably.
of our kind, but it could be. It's more. It sounded like he was given some sort of hypnotic effect or some sort of mental command, which would limit among our kind who could do such a thing.
Right.
Um,
Wasn't a
but
brouhaha. Don't do that.
but unless I mean, if it were not that, if he was a genuinely inspired by such an individual, um, it could have been anyone from our kind. Again, the motive is where I guess we're still lacking. We have a Matthias himself may have been manipulated, but by who? So there, it goes back even farther. So we need to
Hmm.
find out who manipulated Matthias into starting to look around.
What was did he say the name of the bar to
Yes,
you,
did he give?
Hildegard?
Yeah, the location of the
No,
establishment.
no, he didn't. He didn't say it because I from what Edgar could tell, he was kind of embarrassed the fact that he was even in a bar.
Matthias
Oh,
was embarrassed, or Edgar.
Matthias was embarrassed. He didn't say the name of the bar to Edgar.
okay.
So
Hmm.
I think that's worth it. I think that's something we could possibly find out. I mean, there can't be many in this area, can there?
Probably not. No. Do you
Hmm.
think do you think we need to squeeze Matthias directly?
He was manipulated through words alone.
Something.
It
Yeah.
it would work, but if he was manipulated through certain abilities that our kind have, he may not even remember or know he was manipulated. But
That's
yeah,
possible.
Yeah, he talked to Edgar about the things he was most proud of. That's the part he seemed to just go on and on and on about. But any of the details he didn't want to share them with Edgar. It seemed like he was again he was embarrassed about it.
Hmm. I never bothered to see how many bars are out here.
Hildegard's like, well, I mean, I guess there's a bunch of different taverns and things like that throughout the area. Um, wasn't there that one we went to?
We did, yeah. Something sheep? Was it?
Something like, hey, something with sheep. Place was weird. I don't know.
Yeah, it was
it's a start.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, but it's a start. and it's someplace we can at least look to see. Our problem is we don't know what we're looking for. We're
Yeah.
hoping to find something in regards to Mathias's, I guess, inspiration, whoever inspired him to do
Mm. I wonder
this.
if I wonder if okay, so when Hildegard and I and Claudio went there, we met this guy who was not from here
Hmm.
and
Hmm?
very intuitive or charismatic or something. And Claudio, of course, started talking to him. So I wonder if
The
that could be
Greek?
the guy. The Greek, yes! He didn't give a name other than that.
That guy was scary.
Yeah.
And he didn't seem to have a problem with Claudio. And because
Oh, no.
I think Claudio, I think he tried he tried his tricks on the man, and it didn't seem to have any effect. I remember him actually kind of chuckling at Claudio. Yeah, he scared me.
Yeah, he doesn't scare me, but he's annoying. I mean, get out of my head. You do not want to know what's in here. I kind of have that sort of appearance, I think, sometimes.
Someday they might call that resting bitch face. So
Maybe.
anyway, we make lots of references in this game to things that have
But
absolutely no place in
nothing
the
to
game,
do with.
but
Yeah.
that's aside. But it's funny. So anyway,
Yeah.
so
So what if we went? Okay, so if Matthias is ashamed of going to a bar, he's not likely to go back to one.
no, no.
No.
And it sounds like it was that guy.
Would he recognize with the Greek? Let's start with a premise that the Greek is responsible for Matthias's sudden inspiration.
Interest.
Hmm.
Would he recognize any of you between any
Oh,
of you two?
yes. Yes, he
Oh,
would.
I'm sure he would.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But myself, on the other hand, he's not seen me,
No, he has not.
and I have ways to be rather subtle uh, in a crowded situation. Perhaps I could
Yeah.
start a circle, checking out some of the locations where this Greek might be. Can you describe him to me so that I might be able to spot him?
Um. Well, we're pretty sure he's human. I think. Uh, tended in that bar at least. He was off to the side in like a little booth kind of area that was not easily seen when we walked
Mhm.
in. Had a bit of an accent that doesn't sound like from here. Older, I think. Older than me, if that counts with vampires anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, Hildegard goes, yeah, um, that's where we met those two girls, Veronica and Elizabeth.
Right.
We met them oh, she goes, I remember the name, the Thick Sheep.
Oh yeah, that's it. That's it.
And it was actually, it wasn't in this neighborhood. It was in a better part of town.
Closer to
So
home.
maybe Matthias doesn't even live down here. Maybe he's from a better place.
Oh.
We now have the
Could
name of
be.
the bar.
Yeah,
If the Greek frequented there once, he may frequent there again, and it's at least a place to start our search,
it's true.
and we have something to work from. Very well.
So
I will endeavor to investigate this Thick Sheep Tavern,
Mm-hmm.
and let's at least see what we see. If the Greek is there, he won't recognize me. He won't know who I am. If he approaches me or does recognize me through some then it's clear to me that he would have some sort of contact with our society or is perhaps familiar with our kind.
I don't
By
know. He might be someone familiar with our kind in a way, but it wasn't. The Greek didn't approach Claudio. Claudio approached him.
Hildegard just kind of chimes in. She goes, I remember him saying, give his regards to Alexander. So he knows about our kind.
Oh,
That's what
yeah.
really creeped
Greek.
me out. The
I
Greek.
forgot about that. I don't think I understood that at the time.
Yeah, but I remember him saying, "Give my regards to Alexander." That's the part
Maybe
that
this
really
does.
creeped me out.
Maybe this does come from Alexander.
Well, it makes some sense with Alexander, given his inclinations of
Starting
religion.
a holy war, yes, literally.
Yes, and taking out prostitutes and whatnot. A house of ill repute would be good for his crusade, as it were.
I guess.
I think we need to find this Greek. The Greek mentioned Alexander by name, you say.
Yes, yes.
I'd forgotten, but she's right.
That I think we need to find out what their connection is. Let's start by finding the Greek. We don't know where he is, but we know at least one place he frequents.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. Okay.
would he be? He'd recognize you, but how would he feel about you?
I don't
It
know.
was
I'm fairly certain I annoyed him greatly.
that is not what we want.
I got
Yes,
I got the feeling like he was just toying with us.
probably.
Felt like
I
he
think I
was
could.
I felt like he was looking in my mind.
He didn't try that with me. Probably knew better. Anyway.
All right. Well, I think
yeah.
that's our starting point. Let's find the Greek,
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
and we at least have one place we know, and we'll start there. I will endeavor to take the lead on that because he won't know me, he won't recognize me, and with my abilities to blend in, I believe that will be beneficial to us. I should be able to watch him undisturbed, and we will go from there. Perhaps we'll learn something from him, perhaps not, or at least establish anything. If anything else, we'll establish the fact that he is not involved, and that could be useful.
That
So,
could be. Yeah. Unless
let's
he's
start with
lying.
that. Yeah,
But we
well,
don't know. We can
let's
try.
start with that.
Yeah.
Let's
Alrighty.
let's at least. I mean, let's start there. That's a starting point. We do nothing other than see what we learn, and as far as I'm concerned, if it turns ugly, I will only defend myself. If necessary, I will flee any conflict because we need him. We need to confirm what he's doing and connection to Alexander, if any.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
All right.
Okay.
And I think we have a plan of attack, as it were.
We have a plan. And as the movie is called, we're going to say, "Get him to the Greek."
Yeah.
And I think that's probably a good place to wrap up for tonight.
Yes.
I'd like
Okay.
to thank my players, Jen and Matt, again, and thank everyone who's been listening. And we will see you next time. Have a good night. Goodbye.
Bye.